All right, so welcome back to Superior Scenics. I got Dave here. We're going to take a turn running these Athearn SW1500s. These just came out. These were just shipped. I got these from Tag Trains. Shout out to those guys. Thank you so much for getting these to me, Lee. I really appreciate it. These are some awesome engines. I can't believe the amount of sound that's coming out of these things. I've got them turned down to a value of 30 out of 192, and it's just incredible that one, that they're sounding these from the factory, and two, how much weight there is to them yet. I recently read an article in Railroad Model Craftsman about these, or about locomotives in general, manufacturers trying to make them heavier and pull more. So, Dave, I'm sure you know about how much locomotives used to weigh. The old Protos, Arcados, the old Athearns, and they had pulling might, but I feel like we've lost some of that, adding all this technology into these, and they're finding new and better ways to add more weight back into them. And I think these might be a nice little way of looking back at them. Like the SD80s, the C&Ws that I had, those had a ton of weight. So we're going to see how these do today. We're going to run them around. We're each going to take one. We're going to take turns doing some switching, some mainline ops, and see how they do. So without any further ado, let's get going. All right, we're going.
We are on.
We're on. So we're running these little SW1500s from Athearn here, and we've been having I feel like a pretty good time. What do you think, Dave?
Well, actually, I've been having a great time with them. Pleased as heck is how they're operating. Over the years, I really was not a fan of Athearn. This goes back probably for the last 30 years. But I mean, what Athearn has done and shown me over the years, I was very much wrong. So I have to tell you honestly, I am well taken with these little yard switchers, these little 1500s. They are, see how slow they're moving. They're operating through number 4 switches. There are a few number 6s in this yard. This is my original yard when I built this layout, close to probably 28, close to 30 years, somewhere right in there ago. Still functioning well. And here we are today. Just loving these little units switching out. I'm just going to break out some more stuff here. And I am going to move a few things around and show you just how nice these little Athearns pull out. They can go so slow, so nice. I haven't been pulling anything really much over 6, 8, 10 cars at the most. but what it's been doing here is just smooth as silk in operations. So these little 1500s, I'll tell you what, if you've got yard duties and you're going to be operating number 4 switches, Atlas switches, I would not be fearful or scared, not for 1 second, of what they'll do for you. These things are wonderful. I haven't picked a switch in my yard yet, operating here tonight with Sean. So my expectations were not overly high when we started, but I have been pleased, very pleased in what has happened.
And that's great to hear too, because we just ran that Rapido RS18U, and the first thing that did coming into the yard was pick a switch. Now there's a lot more detail on those trucks that maybe contributed to that, and these are Athearn ready to roll models. But the sound, I think, has been phenomenal.
Yes.
I love the sound. You get plenty of horn and bell when you ask for it. And remember, these are turned down to notch 30 from, or the CV value of 30 from 192. So there is plenty of volume there. Can I see that switch stick again, please? But I've been out on the main line. I've been doing some switching out there. I gotta say, I think this thing's died twice, and that was just because the track wasn't clean. That's it. And like I said, the slow speed movement is amazing.
Oh yeah.
One thing I would change with programming after the volume is just reduce the overall speed of these engines, because it doesn't take much and you're up and going. These things will cook right along.
Yeah, I just bumped the switch with my leg, or not switch, but the throttle, and it scooted right along. Yeah, if there was something, if I was going to say, oops, I just knocked it off with a stick. Nice. Shame on me. Now you can sit.
So that was a man-made derailment.
That was a man-made. Yeah, oops. But yeah, if you can see this, I'm starting off just real slow. Let's see. Yeah, it just all of a sudden it surged ahead. But the thing is, I can slow it down to just counting ties, just barely ticking underneath the thing. So if it was a little bit smoother on the initial startup, but you know what? I have no complaint. I mean, this is not a big deal, and no big fuss at all. This is great.
Yeah, and I'm thrilled with what Athearn's been doing lately. We had the GP9s down here. I had a great time with those. These have been an absolute riot. I'm going to take this around the center layout, and I'm going to see how this does on the grades. This has moved 25 plus cars on a flat level surface with one of these engines. It just switched out 17 cars with no issue. I'm taking 7 cars up a grade. What kind of grade are we expecting to run into coming through here again?
When I built this layout, it's at a 2% grade.
So if we can take 7 cars up a 2% grade with this itty bitty 4-axle engine, I would be just thrilled. But I gotta say, this has just been a ton of fun. I'm very happy with these. I'm not having any of the issues I expected to have, as far as finding dead spots over switches.
No.
Which you would expect with such a short 4-axle, because this is even smaller than a GP9 platform.
Yeah, and this layout, I mean, all of my switches are non-powered frogs, so automatically you're going to walk off a dead spot on a layout.
Absolutely.
Just because my switches are all non-powered.
Yeah, and another thing is, I believe these have Genesis motors in them. These have been upgraded with Tsunami 2 sound, not just Tsunami 2, and Genesis motors. And the information that they give you inside in the box is incredible. It's very helpful with programming, getting the digital dynamic exhaust working, braking functions, all of that stuff. I mean, I'm a low sound guy through and through, but for operating a standard throttle, these things have been phenomenal.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of cool about these engines. I mean, the details, they're right on. And what I thought was so cool is the headlights. I did not realize it. I mean, I'm used to the old Chicago Northwestern stuff that used to be here in town. The 1500s that were operating.
And here I come around up the grade with 7 cars like it's nothing.
Yep, it's pulling sweet. No struggle at all. But
Which I don't think we had many more than that behind that Rapido, and that was slipping.
yeah, that was on the lower loop, but it's still
Yep.
2%. But what was really cool about these Wisconsin Centrals, now these headlights were set how they were
Yeah.
years ago. Okay. So they're offset. Now the stuff that I saw from,
I think they may be Southern Pacific locomotives.
are
That's
they?
why.
They're offset. They're not centered, which is really kind of cool. I had never seen that before. And I'm looking at Sean tonight, like, these things aren't centered. What's up? You know, and yeah, he said that was the way they were.
Now, another thing about these locomotives. So these were, I believe, purchased from another railroad. I think it might be the Southern Pacific. Don't quote me. If you know it, put the answer down in the comments. But another thing is the prototype level for Ready to Roll is not at its peak. They're probably making it to the most popular selling model of that lineup, because the exhaust stacks on here, if these were Genesis, would have spark arresters. And as Canadian National took these locomotives over, they put different spark arresters on. I assume to work better with what they have available at their shops. I'm not sure. And then it was a different bell. And I can't find a photo with the WC paint with this all-weather window on there. But it's a ready-to-roll engine. It's not going to be, per prototype or as specific as a Genesis or another premium line would be.
Well, I can tell you just by these operations that we're doing right now, everything's walking through the switches really nice. And usually that, if there's going to be problems, it's the switches are going to tell you real fast that you have got an issue. And
Absolutely.
we do not have any of that happening right now. So this is just kind of just fun switching right now. No, I am very much impressed with these Athearn units. These to me, they just knocked it right out of the park.
Yeah, if you hold down Shift Select and then hit F1, F7,
yeah,
you'll actually hear them talking in the cab.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that's pretty neat, if you ask me.
Yeah.
And another thing, I asked online about people and see what they were interested in seeing from this review. And one person said specifically the headlights, because these are LEDs. In Athearn, when they had the incandescent bulbs, the actual individual bulbs plugged in, some would be sticking out further, some would be recessed.
I remember those.
But one thing I liked about it is they were real light bulbs. I mean, they had those and waited to get LEDs longer than probably anyone. But I like that they had the real light effect.
There's something here I noticed, Sean. And remember when we had some conversations about, to me, excessive detailing. No, yeah. I love it if it's going to be a static display, but operationally, you're gonna find parts.
Yeah.
Okay, I ran into that here tonight. Now, not with these engines, because if you look at the front of these engines as they are coming along forward at you, you'll see the headlight being to the side, which again I think is just really awesome. But the front here does not have brake hoses and things hanging down.
Actually, it does. It's just behind the plow.
Well,
the MU hoses are.
Okay, but they're not hanging out front.
They're not.
I've
so they're
seen
not
that
going to
with
get damaged by couplers or the uncoupling wands.
When you're trying to get in there and separate a car, and I'm going to stop right here, and I'm going to show you something. Here, a car, and I got to do it this way. But I don't know if your camera can see this, but this is the wonderful details that manufacturers. I don't know what car this is. I'm not picking on anybody in particular.
Intermountain, I believe.
Is it? I don't know. But it's got the brake line hanging down here. When I was trying to stick the stick in here to separate it, that's a guaranteed. I'm going to bust that right off. You know, these eyes aren't as good as they used to be. So, and then trying to get down in there to get a separation between the Katy coupler hooks, that's smack right in the way. That's guaranteed going to get broke. So what I really liked about this little Athearn at this point, and if he's able to see this, you can stick your probe in here to separate this easily without getting in any trouble whatsoever with the front of the unit. So there's no fight going to happen right here at all. This is a real knockout. I love it. Thank you for doing that. That is going to make life easier for switching, because if you're switching, you're hooking up regularly all the time.
Well, while Dave is cleaning that up, he's moving the, what was it, nine auto parts cars that initially 1569 was pulling with all this freight on its own on a not flat and level surface. It was pulling it. It was slipping, but it was pulling it. But I've never been more impressed with a locomotive in my life. It's as simple as that. You've got cab interiors, you've got little switchers with sound that pull like that. It's just unreal. It's just unreal. I'm thrilled. I'm not worried about the prototype details. Again, it's an Athearn ready to roll. You can't expect the world of them of detail. But the pulling power is just unmatched. The little steps here, the platforms, those are fixed, which that's fine. That's expectations aren't here, right? So we've got Athearn Roundhouse, Athearn Ready to Roll, and Athearn Genesis and Genesis 2.0. But just unreal. They've done so well. They've held up. No issues. I didn't have a single derailment. The only derailment he had is one he caused, and that's it. That's been it. It's just been awesome. I did have coming up the hill when we had 68 and 69 pulling. We got to a part of the track where it was just a little not level, and we had a couple uncoupling here. When we were going up that last grade, the couplers were pulling apart a little bit. That happens, but it's just, I cannot possibly overstate how awesome these little engines are. So with that said, Dave, is there anything left that you want to add?
Nothing I can think of. I can honestly say one thing. We brutalized these guys.
Oh, absolutely.
And
they were shaking.
Yeah, and that's not typical for most guys on a flat layout. They don't do this. And what we did to these is kind of like cruel, but I loved it because it showed me something about Athearn that absolutely destroyed my preconceptions of Athearn. Yeah. You guys, just if you're thinking about this at all, don't hesitate.
Do it.
This is a winner.
Just do it.
Yeah, you don't hear me talk like that very often about stuff. I like to be somewhat critical, but I'll tell you, not on this one.
Yeah. So we did a ton of filming tonight. We took a ton of photos. So check out the Instagram, check out Facebook page for Sean's Trains, and we'll have more stuff up. There'll be some, I don't know if we want to call them bloopers, maybe some outtakes or something at the end of the video.
Oh, bloopers. They're good.
And these things were shaking on a hill. You guys will see that later. I don't want to make this video too incredibly long, but we had a ton of fun with these tonight. It was an absolute blast. Athearn, you guys knocked it out of the park. It's. I know I said that about the GP9s, and these, as far as expectations went, just doubled up on those. So, I mean, keep it up. The great work you guys are doing. The only thing I would ever add to these is a keep alive. And we didn't have any trouble tonight, did we?
No.
I had one spot. It was a dirty spot on a crossover of switches. Incredible. Just incredible. So, with that said, good night. Thanks for watching Sean's Trains. Sponsored by Superior Scenics. And you guys have well, see you in the next video.
Where'd it go?
Good night. All right, so we're moving this train, this supposedly enormous train. Let's see what happens here.
It's starting to pick up a little speed.
It is.
And I'm not doing a thing to it. I'm just sitting here holding the throttle and watching.
I feel like once we level out a little bit here, we'll be okay until we hit the next big. Oh, here we go.
We're clearing the tunnel. We're clearing the radius.
Yeah, but we're on another radius here, and those 89 footers just hit the incline.
Oh, I'm listening to the chatter in your unit that's sitting over here.
Isn't that cool?
Yep, we just cleared the switch. We are. I'll throw the switch for you.
We're picking up speed. You better get over to that hill and keep an eye, because I feel like you're going to need a little bit more speed when you level out.
That is, look at the size of this train that is pulling. I have no idea how many cars you've got on here right now, but that is a insane train for that little tiny switcher.
And it's still going. Athearn, I don't know if you guys know what you made here, but you made a little beast. It's probably right over that trestle there, and that trestle's got some slick track. We're not stalled out yet. It's just creeping.
I haven't did a thing to the throttle. No different inputs. It's still trying.
It's not giving up. That's insane. I can't believe it's still pulling.
Yeah, it's really close.
Okay, so just for a little reference, the end of that train is still way down here. If we go to the other side of the layout towards the inside, we'll get to see where it is. Ah.
It's starting to move.
Oh yeah. We're coming out right here. If it keeps moving that way anyway. There's no way it's going to make this curve and this grade. There's no way. Oh, it's stalled out in the tunnel. Completely stalled out.
Yep, we stalled.
Yep, that's a complete stall. Or is it ever so slightly creeping?
Oh, it is. It is moving. I was going to reach over and touch it, but I looked down. I was like, nope, it is moving.
That is insane.
I'll just give it the lightest touch. And that is barely a touch. Hey, Sean?
Yeah.
Are you going to the back end?
I'm coming. I'm going to bring my train around the other way and meet you at the top.
Well, I was just going to say...
You want to push her?
No, out of curiosity's sakes, let's just drop off a few 89 footers just to see, because it is so easy to just touch it with my finger. Just a couple cars off of that. Just how big is this train? I'm thinking we got, what, 25 or more large cars?
Yeah. Well, how about I peel this guy off, put him on the front of yours, and see if the two of them will pull?
Oh, I think that'd be a thing to do.
Okay, well, let's do that. Just follow up the main here, don't mind me. Let's get this guy on here. Oh, gotta go down one more.
Yeah, I've stopped the train. It's not pulling. Everything's shut down.
Well, let's see if we can fix that. So this will be real helper service without with 2 separate throttles and 2 separate locomotives.
Can I UT4 or can I MU on it with the UT4s?
No, you'll need to use one of the larger throttles and then...
Because I got the UT6 sitting over there.
Yeah. All right, throttle yours up just a little bit. I'm already pulling you. Oh, nothing.
How many cars? 1, 2, 3.
Well, they're slipping. Turn yours up just a hair. I'm at 9 o'clock. Okay. Noon. We're moving it. They're shaking the ground, that's for sure. Let's bring this over there and we can watch some progress. So we are just slowly moving. But we are moving. Yeah, let's show it on camera here. We got both throttles set at noon. They're shaking, look at that.
Let's take it up a little bit more.
I don't, all right, a little bit more. Those plastic couplers on those locomotives are starting to peel apart.
Well, the best thing I can say about this layout, it tests everything on an engine.
Yeah. Let me try something once. Go from a standstill here.
You can definitely see the grade build up looking at the lake and train on the other side of the lake.
I mean, it is moving. As little as it is moving, it's still moving. It's not dead. So can it pull this? Technically, I guess.
Yeah, it's trying. Bless its little heart, it's trying.
I bet you if we had that third one on here, if we consisted all 3,
It would
probably do
no
it.
effort. It would take it. Then again, how many cars do I have here? I mean,
yeah. Well, we just saw them all go by, so this is nuts. This is not a rational test.
no, this is one of those crazy train guy things. I am going to knock off.
We've got both throttles here.
I'm going to knock off here, Sean. There.
How many did you take off?
I'm not sure. They're still in a tunnel.
Well, we're dead in the water again.
I got 3 off of it.
3 off?
Yeah.
Okay, we're just slowly moving here. Well, I think we're going to have to call it. Otherwise, we're going to be here all night because this thing is just going to ever so slowly creep around the layout. Oh, with all the 89 footers off, it's not even a question. Not a problem.